What's up, guys? Nate with 910 Outdoors, sitting here with old Gary Chappell. We're doing another episode of What's Your Thoughts, and today my topic is going to be the top 3 things you do with the season coming to an end. What's the top 3 things you do as soon as the season's over to kind of prepare yourself for maybe the next species or the next hunting season?
You didn't end it with what's your thoughts, and I kind of fumbled over the button.
Anyways,
What's your thoughts?
What's your thoughts? No, so we're coming to the end of the season. It's kind of one of those things where, you know, some people are burnt out. It's kind of like we're kind of ready, but not necessarily switching gears into turkey or whatever. But there's a lot of things I think that get put on the back burner as soon as season's up. You're just done.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of things that you can still do to benefit any kind of hunting, but mainly what I'm speaking on is waterfowl. You can benefit your next waterfowl season by starting right now on what are some of the top 3 things you're going to do in the off season, or that you normally do in the off season, to kind of prepare for a better season next year.
Okay.
So I'll go first to give you an idea what I'm talking about.
All right.
One of the prime things we did last year that I want to even bump up even more this year is shooting some clays. Target practicing. Don't put the gun down, this month and then not touch it again until September.
Yeah.
That I think that has
A lot of people are bad about that. We
were used to
definitely
be
been
bad
guilty about that.
But I think that last year we did shoot some skeet. We went out and 2 or 3 times and tried to not only looking at like pattern the gun, but we were just getting the swing back. Yeah. And I think that benefited me. At least I feel like I shot better this year on the little bit of hunting I did. But because of that little bit of break the dust off early, go ahead and get out there, start shooting some clays, getting a swing of things. And
not even shooting clays, but pattern your guns, pattern your loads,
totally.
Know what you're planning on shooting and prepare for it, know what it's going to do.
You did that a lot more this year. You actually dove into the rounds, I feel like, more than I did. I was more focused on just the shooting part, but you were diving into what load works for you in that gun better.
Right.
And I mean, that's different for everybody. I don't think I don't think that's gun related. I think that's the shooter related.
The gun with the choke, with the load, it's a whole combination of figuring out what works best.
You might be a precise shot that likes a tight pattern. You might be a guy that's spray and pray and whatever, but there's things you can do to don't wait till September to say, well, I guess it's time to get the gun out.
Sure.
Clean it off. What's something that comes to mind instantly?
The first thing that comes to my mind is just cleaning up the gear.
Cleaning gear.
I know a lot of guys are very bad about
I'll clean
the
it
season. The season
back.
ends and they close the trailer or they close the shed. excuse me, with all their gear in it, and they don't open it back up until
August.
the week before time to hunt, and then they got a mess on their hands.
And then when you're supposed to be out scouting, you're getting all your gear crap ready. Yeah, that would definitely be something to look into.
Going through all your decoys, all your blinds, the trailer, your waders, your boots, the stuff that you're not going to be using for a few months, take it and clean it up. Take care of your stuff. You spend a lot of money on this gear.
I think you'll appreciate that too come August or September.
And it's nice when it's time to roll into season and everything is fresh and ready to go. Because I feel like more guys than not wait till it's time to hunt again to do that.
Oh, yeah. Guilty. I mean, I used to do it.
And I think that's, golly, something's in my throat. That's something that I think that we've gotten pretty good about in the last few seasons about, when season's over, let's just go ahead and get it cleaned up and put up.
Yeah. So I think one that I want to try to do more of, and I think the past maybe 3 years we've got into it, is trying new gear.
Yeah.
I feel like people get kind of complacent with what they have works, no reason to change it, blah, blah. But there's a lot of gear that comes out every year and you don't have to be a gear snob where you got every freaking toy there is, but try new things. Try say, maybe I'm going to try a different blind bag this year. Mm-hmm. Me and you used 2 different blind bags, or we did. Yeah. And I've never had.
I use like 3 different ones now.
But I'm saying and then it's a game changer. It might it might make it easier. It might be a negative thing. It might be like, all right, this isn't working like I want it. I want my old bag back.
Sure.
But at least you know. And I think that's something that I've back in the day was just I had my gear. That's what it was. I didn't try new things.
Yeah.
And
I've slowly made a gear snob out of you.
Yeah. But and you don't have to be necessarily snob about it. I mean, there's you gotta have Sitka. You can't get ducks without Sitka.
No, I just mean the fact of I've made you start buying a lot of stuff.
You maybe buy a lot of things. But I think that if you're a hunter and you're going to hunt next season, you're going to hunt every year, try to say, let me incorporate one new item. Let's try something new. It may work, it may not, but I think you'll learn that one thing might be a lifesaver, like what you just talked about in a recent podcast of the hook for hanging your gun. That small little thing could make your season a world of difference.
Sure.
So try new gear.
Yep.
Something you got.
My next one would be well, you don't want to go into prepping for the next season because that's, I guess, my first things that I think of is packing up stuff and then getting ready for whatever's next. I was going to save this one to last, but this is all I can think about right now is following up with your landowners, the people that gave you permission to hunt that past season. If you can, a lot of times we'll buy them a gift card or or at least at the smallest thing, like a thank you card or something. Or, your relationships might be different. Maybe some of our landowners we know in person. Some of them we've only talked to over the phone. So it might just be a simple phone call.
Yeah.
Hey, just wanted to tell you
that goes a long way,
grateful we are for you letting us hunt your property this year. We really appreciate it. And, hopefully we can, you'll allow us to come back next season. That just kind of
we can have a whole podcast on just dealing with landowners. I mean,
so I think,
a great thing to do.
I think everybody's different. Every landowner's different, but just the whole, at least touching base with them, whether it's a phone call, a thank you card, a stop by their house, at least let them know that you appreciate what they did for you this past season.
I think that goes a long way too. Because you think about it, you get permission, you go hunt their spot. You might only hunt it at one time, but then they don't hear from you again until next year. Versus going out of your way to say, "Hey, look, I really appreciate you letting me do this." Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
they're gonna remember that.
Yeah, and I always kind of end it with that, like if I'm calling them or seeing them in person, whatever that conversation, however it goes. But it's first of all, thank you for all of this season, and then I kind of end it with, I'll be talking to you come August. Yeah. Let them know, hey, you might not hear from me for a few months, but come down towards the end of summer, I'll get up with you. That way you don't have to remind them who you are when that comes back around.
So I'm going to go with my last one of keeping your crew together. And I think that's something that we need to get better at. We have our select goose crew that we hunt with, but then it's like, come June, we're not really together.
Yeah.
And I think we did a little bit of it this year, trying to have like a little cookout or get together, or especially going back to like the first one of cleaning up gear and cleaning out the trailer. We had a little cookout at the house. Everybody came over. We cleaned all the decoys.
Trailer cleaning party.
Trailer cleaning party. But small little things, because you got to understand people's lives change every day. Mine's about to change here in a couple of months. I'm about to have a new baby. So it's like keeping in touch with your crew, keeping them together, and actually doing things. Go shoot skeet together.
Yeah.
All the topics we're talking about.
That's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, keep that crew a crew throughout those months when you're not actually out there chasing and grinding.
Sure.
And I think that's going to play a big factor when, August comes in, it's time to scout. Crew's still together. We're all still communicating. Group text going nuts.
Yeah.
Let's keep the crew together, and I think that's something everyone should do.
Yeah. My last one would be spend time with the family.
Yeah.
You've spent, for us, it's been September all the way through the couple weeks of February that pretty much every chance I get to be gone, I'm gone. You got to juggle family time even within the season, but a lot of times it does get neglected. You don't spend as much as you probably should. Yeah. A lot of times I think everybody's guilty of it, but use those months off to your advantage of get that family time in there. For one, it's important. Mm-hmm. When it becomes where you're not doing your family duties or that you need to be doing, that's a problem. You need to be able to juggle that stuff. But when it's all said and done, and now, hey, I'm freed up, take advantage of that and spend as much time with them as you can. Get you some brownie points, spend time with the kids, do stuff with the kids, with the wife, whatever. But just, I like to make up for some of that time that might have been lost through waterfowl season. And, just use that time wisely. And
if my wife's listening to this, you know that you've now just created me planning a trip for the summer, probably.
But I mean, that's a lot of times how we do it.
Plan a trip out.
For aside from those few weeks of turkey season, it's March through at least March, May, June, July. Yeah. There's literally nothing going on, and it's just like now it's like
prime time.
Kids are out of school. Let's get in as much family time as we can, and that'll go a long way whenever season comes around the next year.
Absolutely. But yeah, well, that about wraps it up.
I like it.
Pretty much a small episode of What's Your Thoughts, and if you got any thoughts on what some of the tips and tricks that you do in the off season, I'd love to hear them.
We'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.